an awkward angle.
Hey guys, Jordan.
I'm Dale.
And I'm Devin.
MMA World agree to disagree. It's been a while since we've been on camera.
We're back, motherfuckers!
Alright guys, well, we aren't going to be bringing you the full card, we're going to just bring you the main card tonight. And we're going to do, you'll notice a couple little differences in our broadcast tonight. First off, who wants to start off us on the main card, guys? Mike Easton
I'll
versus...
start. Menjivar and Easton. Gonna be a badass fight. Easton's a prospect guy, a lot of guys people have been talking about for a while. Menjivar has been around a long time, one of those WEC guys. It's a close fight. I really don't know who's gonna win. I'm going Easton, but it's close.
I have to say, in this fight, I don't really know much about who Easton's fighting, except for that he's got a wicked left hand. That's all I really know about him. And we all saw the fight with Jared Papazanian versus Mike Easton. Personally, I thought Jared won that fight. What about you guys? But yet again, we're not here to talk about.
I think Easton won, but it was close.
But
I could have scored that.
But in this fight, it could go either way. But I'll give it to the vet, Mike Easton.
Actually, Menjivar's the veteran, not Easton, but Easton.
That's true. You're right.
I mean, both guys. I mean, if it gets up close, if it gets in the clinch, I think that's where it gets interesting because Menjivar's got some sick fucking elbows, but Easton can take a shot. He can really take a shot. If you saw the Papazian fight, you know, it was like fried Takayama in that clinch with Papazian. So I think he can take Menjivar's best shots, but I think this one goes to the decision. I think Easton wins it.
That is true, but if I like to, you know, before we go into the next fight, guys, if I like to throw out a little something I just remembered. Do you remember the fight against John Albert? Now that was a beautiful technical submission. Remember that? I mean that's the way I could see him beating. Like I have a feeling. I think if Mike Easton.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but technical. Albert tap.
It was a good rear naked choke.
Yeah, but Albert tap.
It is true, but what I have to say is if he
like his submissions.
Yeah. If Mike Easton, I have a feeling that Mike Easton will either go real quick and gas out, and then we'll see probably the same thing like what happened to Albert with the submission, or if not, it's gonna go both ways, but Mike Easton's gonna win on the stand up.
Fair enough.
I mean that's just all I can really say. Well, anything else do you guys have to say before we go into the next fight? Well, I already know this, that my boy Dale wants to lead off with the next fight.
Chad Mendes versus Cody McKenzie. Why the fuck is Cody McKenzie in his featherweight debut going up against Chad Money Mendes? I'm sorry, guys. I think he's getting thrown to the wolves. I know he's got that sick-ass guillotine. I know his stamp's improving. I know he's been training with the Diaz brothers here and there, blah, blah, blah. Look, Chad Mendes is one hell of a wrestler. He was undefeated. And, I mean, you look at the guys he's beating, like Javier Mendez and fucking Ronnie Yaya. Those guys are some pretty sick jiu-jitsu players. And Mendes made all of them look pretty damn bad. Even Michihiro Migawa, one of the best judokas in the history of the featherweight division. Serious judoka. Mendes just neutralized his game, made him look like he had nothing. So, I don't know what McKenzie offers, but I think Mendes overpowers McKenzie.
Well, if you don't mind me cutting in here real quick.
I'm done, so you're not cutting in.
Alright, well, in this fight, I agree with him. Not giving out Cody McKenzie's submission game. He's an alright with his stand-up, and we've all seen it, but yet again in this fight, I think he's getting thrown into
alright.
I think they're throwing him into the wolves real quick. I mean, you're looking at a guy who trains with Uriah Faber, which is a submission wrestling camp predominantly.
They love that guillotine.
And they love the guillotine. I guarantee he's going to be praying for him to throw that guillotine so he can post out and just quickly just slam him off of it. I mean, come on. You're putting a guy in his debut, as you said, off of a guy that we had no clue who he was, Marcus how do you ever say it? Was it Levasseur?
Levasseur.
I mean, come on, dude. That was a nobody. We all expected to win there.
Well,
I mean, you're coming into a division against a guy who just came clean off of a knockout defeat that he got knocked out by the champion Aldo back in January, which was an insane fight. Mind the ending of it, but I mean, there's nothing really much to say except for I kind of question the matchmaking of this decision. They should have put Chad Mendes up against one of maybe the top 3 guys versus a guy who's just jumping to different division. I mean, do you agree with me or disagree with me on that one?
Devin?
I think McKenzie's in over his head. I don't even know if we need to talk more about this.
I mean, I see this. I don't know if you guys unanimously agree with me, but I see a knockout by Mendes.
I see a TKO or a unanimous decision. I'm going to go unanimous decision Mendes.
Agreed.
Okay. Do you guys mind if I take the next one?
Go ahead.
Well, this is one I've been looking months to see.
He really has.
Damian Maia versus Dong Gun Kim. What else can I say about that? This could be a submission battle for the ages. And we all know that Dong Hyun Kim has been working as well as Maia on their stand-up since they've been in the UFC. They both have shown very, very technical power, except for in Dong Hyun Kim's last fight, where he got knocked straight out when he tried to go for a straight punch against who is now the current #1 contender for GSP. Yes, and Maia's no bitch here. I mean, this guy has championships all over the place, and BJJ. I mean, his last fight kind of can't, in my opinion, he went into a fight against somebody that was a powerhouse like Chris Weidman. And we've all seen him. He's no bitch. And the fight before that, he beat Jorge Santiago, which I don't know about you guys, but I question that fight. What about you? And we all know about Mark Munoz. There's a reason he's #2 in the middleweight division, underneath Chael Sonnen.
Now, what I don't question the Santiago fight. My question is, where the hell is your Jits Damian Maia? I'm sorry, I gotta say it. Ever since he got knocked out by Nate Marquardt, I like that he's been increasing his takedowns. I like that he's trying to improve his wrestling. The fact of the matter is, though, Damian Maia, he's a very well-decorated, world-class jiu-jitsu practitioner. He is not a wrestler. He's not Chael Sonnen. He's not Mark Munoz. He's trying to wrestle with guys, and he's trying to strike with guys. I mean, I understand he's trying to improve, but he's not a wrestler. He's not a striker. So that's where my concern comes in against Kim.
And if I like to pause in here real quick, what I have to say is, what I have to say about this fight, that, you know, the last time I actually saw Maia even attempt to put a submission on somebody was against actually in his title fight against Anderson. But even as you pointed out, he's scared to throw the submission ever since he got fucking decked by Marquardt. It wasn't. I mean, I could see how that could put a stop, you know, in your performance. But come on, you're one of the #1 jiu-jitsu practitioners, still ranked in the world. You shouldn't be afraid to throw a submission. That's your bread and butter.
Yeah, I agree.
And anybody else have anything to say before we go into the next fight?
I have Maia in this one, but I'm nervous. This is the one I struggle with the most on the main card besides Easton and Menjivar.
It is true, after all that I had said, you know what I'm going to say about this fight? This is an early prediction, but I see this going submission of the night.
You think it's going to be submission of the night?
Reason I'm saying is, you got it both ways.
Well, I guess you do have both ways. We haven't even talked about Dong Hyun Kim's judo or anything like that, but we know
that's why I said it could be submission of the night either way.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could. I mean, Maia actually did look pretty good. He made 170, and so I'll give him that shot to do it by submission, second round.
I mean, if you guys watched, I don't know if you guys saw the countdown, but I did today. I watched it. I had taped it and finally got to watch it today. But Maia said, believe me when I say I'm going to the ground in this game, or in this match. You remember him saying that? Remember towards the end of the interview?
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of curious to see if he's actually going to keep his word and do so.
Well.
All right. Well, who wants to lead off with our next one?
Got Kung Lee and Patrick Cote. Patrick Cote's been out of the UFC for a while.
About 2 years.
But he has a good win streak going. And Kung Lee, we all know Kung Lee former Strikeforce champion. Patrick Cote is tough too. Kung Lee's coming off a fight against Vondi, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Vondi.
So I think this is gonna be a knockout of the night. I don't know who it's gonna be. I'm leaning towards Cote. He's got a 4-fight win streak. And I just think Kung Lee's overrated. I'm sorry. I said it. I just think he is. But he's good, but I don't know.
I get it. I'm sorry to cut you out, Dan, but I do second that. You know, I mean, Kung Lee, to me, I mean, he's a good striker, but he doesn't throw hands as much as, you know, I like. I mean, maybe I'm just picky about guys that throw hands. I don't think that's really... Well, I mean, it's diverse to throw kicks, but whatever. Point is, you know, I'm not sure if this is a good stylistic matchup from Cote, or for Kung Lee, excuse me. I don't think it's a good stylistic match for Lee. I think Cote's a little bit more well-rounded. I think he's a lot better on the ground. I think he's a little bit better on the feet. I agree, though. It could be knockout of the night.
Well, when I come into this fight, you know, I see two guys that are excellent on the stand-up, and especially are explosive on their knockout power. You got one guy who specializes in his Muay Thai, but it's kind of like Frank Mir, hits heavier with his hands, and Patrick Cote, and then you got a guy that's Taekwondo and multi-verse with his karate styles. I don't know the exact name for the karate that he uses, but you got a guy who's equally to the fist power of Cote with his legs. And you got example, Scott Smith. I know that's a bad example because of how bad Scott Smith's done recently.
And because Scott Smith actually had to lead his first career loss.
Yeah, but Scott Smith, man, I mean, come on. You saw how he dominated him with the kicks, even in that first fight, and just kind of got lucked out. If that's the way that I see Cote actually beating him, is if he can pull like the Scott Smith type one-handed knockout, right? I see it somehow. I see that, or I see just a pure fucking domination of Taekwondo skills.
Well,
I mean, you're coming off a guy who, as he said, lost to Vanderlei. He's craving that win. He's craving that knockout. And then you have a guy, Patrick Cote, who's been out of the organization, been out of the hype of this type of organization for about 2 years. Even though it's still kind of a rush coming back to it. But yet again, he wasn't in his last fight. Even though he won it, he wasn't going against one of the easiest guys. He was going against one of the cousins of Carlos Machado, Gustavo Machado. Which, if you guys don't have a clue who they are, the Machado family, they are one of the best, probably underneath the Gracies when it comes to jiu-jitsu. And they're actually out of here in Dallas, Texas. So that's where primarily the camps are. And Cote knocked him out, which to a jiu-jitsu guy is very hard to do. I don't know about that. Any notes anybody wants to make about this fight before we move on to the next one?
Well, I'll just say a few things. First off, Lee, we mentioned the Vanderlei fight. Let's face facts. Lee was not supposed to lose to Vanderlei. He was supposed to basically retire Vanderlei. Second thing, like I said, Cote I think is more well-rounded. Third off, Patrick Cote, third round knockout of the night.
I got the same thing here, almost as close as Dale. But this is one of the few things that I hate doing. But I say it's a fence fight, but definitely with a knockout of the night in the grass. I mean, given all the good fights tonight, this I have is knockout of the night, but too hard to call. But if I have to pick, I think Kung Lee just has this much more of an advantage. Not much, but that much more. He just has to watch his cardio. If not, I got Cote knocking him out just off of the stamina depletion. What do you say?
Got Cote knocking him out too.
Alright, well, I guess I'll lead us off with the next fight, if you guys don't have a problem with that.
Co-main event of the evening.
Co-main event. Tito, the Huntington Beach bad boy, or the Gravedigger, as a lot of people like to refer to him, Ortiz, versus Forrest, the Gorilla Griffin.
Don't make up nicknames for Griffin, you bastard.
Okay, I can say Goofy Bastard then.
Whatever.
Alright, well, I got this fight, man, both were controversial. In both the two fights,
both were
very controversial fights. But yet I had them in opposite wins. Last fight I had Ortiz win. The first fight I had Griffin win. There will be no words but this fight to be action, right? I mean, if you have to put one word, action, right?
Action.
That would just be the understatement of the year, right?
Understatement of the year, Griffin Ortiz 3, action.
I could actually see this as being as one of the picks for fight of the year.
It absolutely could, and reason being, I don't think, you know, kind of just like how Wanderlei Silva was not supposed to be competitive for Kung Lee, I don't think people are expecting Tito Ortiz to be very, very competitive at all with Forrest Griffin. A lot of people got Forrest Griffin by TKO or KO or something like that. I actually think this is going to end in another split decision. I think Tito Ortiz brings out the best in Forrest Griffin, and just the same, I think Forrest Griffin brings out the best in Tito Ortiz. Probably as good, if not better, of a Tito Ortiz than we ever saw in Tito's prime.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing at all whatsoever bad to say about this fight. This fight is just going to be pure adrenaline rush, because it could go either way. The fans say, hey, Forrest might have this just because Tito's getting older. You know what? Even that Tito lost his last fight against Rashad, you had a guy who took the fight at, what was it, a week's notice?
I would say a week.
He took about a week's notice to fight a guy that's been training to fight. And I don't care what people say about, hey, they have to change their strategy, there's going to be a chance of losing. No, that just means they weren't ready for the fucking fight, as much as they said they were. If they can't beat somebody who's just coming in fresh, I kind of question. You never know. They were both probably planning to fight anyways. There should be no excuse in this fight. Both guys do and are coming ready, and you have 110% Tito ready for this fight, as well as 110% Forrest Griffin.
Yesterday.
And that weigh-in, that stare down was epic.
That was like, I don't know. Would you put that up there with Mirko and Wanderlei back in Pride?
I don't know, man. I put it up there with them and Sanchez Guida.
Oh my god.
I had to say it.
Cannot wait.
Hey, Devin, me and Dale have had the floor here for a little bit of time. What do you got to say about the fight?
Well, I think this fight's pretty clear. If it stays on the feet, Forrest wins. If it goes to the ground, Tito wins. I think Forrest is going to win.
Unanimous? Split?
Unanimous decision or TKO.
You know, before we move on to the next fight, I do have to point out this is, you know, I said I have two fights I can't choose winners for. And as Dale always marks, you have to pick one. But I put this one as a split. I put this one, most likely, I somehow see, if it goes to the judges, I see Tito getting it just because it's his last one, and they want to give him out. They want to send him out. That's if he goes ball solo the whole time. But if it's Forrest Griffin and him going, I see it being a split decision. They'll probably end up giving it to Forrest, though. And if I have to pick one of the two, as much as I like Forrest Griffin, I want to see Tito Ortiz with the W at the end of the night, just because he is a pioneer and a legend of this sport, and it's going to be hard to see him leave. I got Ortiz by a split decision, and definitely this being the fight of the night.
Alright, I think this is going to be one of the candidates for fight of the night. Like I said, Griffin, I think, brings out the best Ortiz. Ortiz, I think, brings out the best Griffin. I, too, want to see Ortiz pull out a win, but I think this one's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be Forrest Griffin with the split decision. You tell us after the fight if it ends in a split decision for Forrest Griffin. You tell us if you think he should have won it.
Okay, well, Dale, I know you've been anticipating this. I'll let you have it.
Who hasn't?
The biggest rematch in the history of MMA.
Mark 2 years.
Probably the biggest rematch that's been talked about in the past 2 years. Anderson the Spider Silva versus the American Gangster Chael Sonnen. You know how the first fight went. You know what happened for 4.5 rounds. I admit, there wasn't a damn rib injury. TRT or no TRT, maybe Chael Sonnen probably was the better wrestler. I'll give him his. And I fucking hate Chael Sonnen. Because he's a delusional son of a bitch.
You know what I do enjoy finally hearing him say come out of his mouth? What he said yesterday during the countdown, if you guys watched it. He acknowledged the fact, while watching it on camera, he goes, he says, I was so out of it, quote, I was so out of it that I thought that I didn't tap out, and I was complaining a little bit at the time, but then when the ref said, no, you tapped, that's when I said, okay, and that's why you just told me stop.
Well, I
At
don't
least
know.
he acknowledges it.
I
Finally.
don't know if he really acknowledges it. It could have just been for the countdown. But if you've never seen either man, I'll start off with Sonnen, then we'll get to Silva. Sonnen is one hell of a wrestler. I'll give him that. Hell of a wrestler. If he puts his hands on you for a takedown, he's taking your ass down. The only question I have, Jordan, I know you don't question it. I think Devin might still question it. I don't know if he does or not. I still kind of question it. The fight with Bisping. I still think if he brings that fight to Silva tonight, Silva whoops his ass. And
He needs to bring the fight like he did to
I don't think
Stan.
he's gonna bring that fight though. I really don't.
I really don't think he's going to bring that fight. He's been working too hard for this. He didn't submit Brian Stan for nothing.
And that was, quote, his very first ever submission victory in the UFC.
That was his first submission in the UFC. But Anderson Silva, he says rib injury. I say it wasn't a rib injury because I don't think he could have pulled off that triangle.
You can't pull a triangle with a broken rib.
I don't
There's
think
no possibility because it controls your breathing. It would be poking your diaphragm, and it would be the worst pain in the world.
That plus, what have people been saying for years about Anderson Silva? The two things they've said. Phenomenal striking.
Bias
aside. Phenomenal striking and probably second to none in head movement.
Yeah.
Would not have happened if he had a rib injury, my opinion. However, I think he will show some head movement. I don't know if he'll be able to outstrike Sonnen this time. I'm not counting out Chael Sonnen striking, but I'm going to say I'm prepared for a repeat of the first fight, and as such, I'm predicting if it goes to the 5th round, if Silva keeps his damn emotions in check, we're going to see another 5th round submission win.
True. You know what? I see this being biased aside of being a Chael Sonnen fan and going for Chael in this fight. He looks ready. Chael looks ready. Anderson looks like he's going to let his emotions get to him. And somehow I see the repeat of the first round. Unless he could pull the same shit he pulled on Vitor, which was kind of shocked the shit out of me when that happened. What about you?
I think people underestimate Sonnen's jaw, but then again, I underestimated Vitor Belfort's jaw. So.
That's true. But yet again, if I like to bring this back to UFC Relentless, I think it was 107, right? UFC Relentless, where the main
109.
event. Yeah, 109. Relentless. Everybody saw fucking Nate Marquardt, who is definitely not a bitch when it comes to boxing. Fucking split Chael Sonnen open. Fucking just kept at his jaw over and over and over and over. Head
almost
kick.
submitted him.
And almost submitted him. You know what?
Sonnen came back.
That's how we know Anderson's going to have a fight on his hands. If you're going against that Chael Sonnen. But yet again, you know where Anderson's weak game is? Everybody says that his takedown defense is the most superb. What did we see the last time?
Most people can't get close enough. That's why. But
and the thing is, Chael Sonnen, the reason you can tell he's a true wrestler, a lot of people don't know this about wrestlers. Everybody thinks wrestlers have glass jaws. Not true at all. A true wrestler is not afraid to get fucking hit. He's not afraid to get fucking smacked in the face, jabbed in the face. True wrestler will be able to take that and still take you down.
No. You fight 50 fights the way that fucking Mirko Cro Cop's fight. That's going to give you a glass jaw. I don't think wrestlers got glass jaws. But then again, we said that about John Fitch, and Fitch just fucked him up.
Yeah, but yet again, that was also because he dropped his guard. He just got hit with an uppercut.
Yeah, no shit. But hey,
I don't see that happening to Sonnen.
No, Sonnen doesn't drop his guard. But if he does drop his hands, we could see a repeat of what happened when Silva fought Belfort.
It's true.
That can happen if you drop your hands.
It is true. Hey, so Devin, we're doing it again. What do you got to say?
Oh, damn. I've been quiet because I don't know.
What do you think about this fight in general, man?
I love this fight. I love Chael. I love his honesty. Sometimes his act gets kind of
redundant.
Okay, but I think it's an act. I think he does have respect for Silva, even though he's saying that stuff. I think he's in Anderson's head. Anderson doesn't trash talk normally. You definitely don't see stuff like that at the weigh-in. So that could either turn out to be Anderson just destroying him, or Anderson fighting angry and getting caught, I think Anderson's going to destroy him in the second round. TKO. How about that?
That's a good point, but you know what I have to say that'll actually make this fight more interesting? that we all saw Chael Sonnen's training buddy Yushin Okami just get torn apart. And his
Chael's better than Yushin though.
Yeah, but yet
Way
again,
better
we
than
also
Yushin.
saw him get torn apart. So you know what? There's a plus there that that Chael has that most other competitors don't. Is that Chael has firsthand fought him. He has his teammate Chris Lieben and his teammate Yushin Okami,
Both awesome.
both who have fought
Dan
him.
Henderson, I believe, is going to be in his corner.
And Dan Henderson as well. My mistake. 3 people, all helping him for this fight that have been on the losing end, so they could tell him firsthand what to look for if he actually can outstrike you. Like, because remember Lieben, he got knocked out. Yushin, he got TKO'd.
Uh-huh.
Well, yet again, you can't. And you got Dan Henderson, who's got submitted from the back,
Right,
which
he won the
Got
first round.
submitted.
He won the first
from
round.
the back.
first round, but-
So he has three different figures that Chill has not seen. Wasn't able to see that if he gets put in that situation, now he'll be able to counter from.
Now he'll be able to.
And on top of it, that he didn't have before, he has McGuire back in his corner, his head coach from Team Quest,
And
who is if I like to point this out, way better submission coach. I hate to say it, than Nogueira when it comes to coaching wise. Compared to an actual
I
fighter.
disagree.
That's what I personally think.
disagree
I think
entirely.
McGuire is a little bit
Agree to
better.
disagree.
Agree to disagree, but I will say this. Sonnen also has Vinny Magalhaes, the guy that got knocked out by Ryan Bader, in his corner. 4 jits, so supposedly Vinny Magalhaes says Anderson Silva won't be able to submit Sonnen. We'll see.
Alright, well, if I have to throw any last pointers, and I barely ever do this actually, that I pick 2, if we don't get fight of the night for Forrest Griffin, I give this one fight of the night.
Yeah, just because of hype and yeah,
The
Wow.
height, the intensity, both guys
both guys.
want to go at each other. I still say Silva 5th round submission, but this is my fight of the night pick.
All right.
Forrest Griffin.
Well, girls and boys, it's always nice talking to you guys. We'll actually be keeping you posted. Dale, you were a little nice to that one comment. Stop fucking looking at her post.
Okay, yeah. As long as we got a little bit of time here, I'm going to say this. If you're a fan of our page, I'm not trying to diss you or nothing, but if you don't want to know who won the fight before you get to see it, just get the fuck off Facebook! Get the fuck off
It's not hard.
Facebook!
I mean, we do it during, like, when we're behind on our, like, say if I have to work and he has to do something, he'll wait, like, say if it's in, like the ice, like, what's it called, the Sweden card.
Yeah.
Where it was during the day, I couldn't watch it, I was working. And he was doing something. He had just had surgery, so
Actually, no,
he waited
no,
for me.
No. What happened with the swing card? I was able to watch it,
Well-
but I told folks I wasn't going to be able to spoil it. I was going to break it along like 7 o'clock or whatever.
Nah, I got you guys. Well, it's always nice talking to you guys. We might cut a video, we might not afterwards. We're seeing how the responses come in. I'm Jordan.
I'm
Dale.
I'm Dale.
Guys, we'll see you guys later, and as I said, we'll keep you posted. Bye.